Mark.
Hey travelers, welcome back to Roberto's Room. So I thought we'd do something a little different. A little while ago, in 2020, I saw this mini-series called Good Lord Bird. And one of the things that has stuck out to me to this day about this series, and this was true even the other day as I watched it for probably the 10th time, is the opening scene, because I honestly believe that when it comes to TV, it may have the greatest opening scene of all time. And there's a reason why I say that, and I wanted to talk about that today with y'all because, like I said, it's just really awesome. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the show itself. Good Lord Bird is a mini-series. It is 6 episodes long, and it stars the enigmatic Ethan Hawke as an abolitionist named John Brown. John Brown is Bible-believing, rough and tumble in all the best ways, and the opening scene really does a really good job of a couple of things. The first thing is setting the tone. John Blackie, who is the production designer on Good Lord Bird, I think did a phenomenal job, because once you get into the scene, you immediately are overwhelmed with the humidity of the South, and you really know exactly what period of time you're in, that pre-Civil War American South. You are introduced to the show in this barber shop / hangout, and you see a lot of men there, and it is very customary of the time where you would come in and just quote-unquote chew the fat with the barber that is there, and that is what our main character John Brown is doing with the barber that is there. They are discussing different Bible verses with the barber really not knowing a lot of real Bible verses, and he's just trying to have some conversation with John Brown that is there. Of course, around this time, not a lot of people were very literate, so that's very common, but there's a lot of mystery as to who John Brown really is, and he's kind of in shadow. You don't really see him, which builds up the mystery until a character by the name of Dutch Henry, played by David Morse, walks in, and from the time that he walks in, you can definitely see some tension building. This is another great thing about this scene, is the tension once Dutch Henry walks in, and he's trying to ascertain who is the person sitting in the barber's chair. You can really sense that there is something between these two men. Maybe they know each other before, maybe not. I think on the part of John Brown's side, as we go through the scene, he's trying to evade letting out who he really is. He gives a false name, and the other gentleman, Dutch Henry, is again trying to figure out who it is. As we know, this is a pre-Civil War South, and at this time there is tension because we are about to get into the Civil War between the Northerners and the South. Of course, John Brown being an abolitionist and him being in the South at this point in time, there is a lot of tensions that rise until one of the other gentlemen that is in the barber shop, who actually is working for Dutch Henry, he discovers that it is John Brown, at which point things get to a head with tensions flaring and the guns drawn. One thing I love about this, and it really goes a long way of letting you know what kind of man John Brown is, that when Dutch Henry takes the Lord's name in vain, he is on him, and he takes personal offense to that. The tension building in this scene, I think, is really masterful, and is one of the reasons, along with the set design and the atmosphere, that this scene works so well in really setting the stage for what this show will ultimately be. And we know, of course, from the show, if you watch it, which I definitely would recommend you watch it, that we are towards the end of John Brown's life in this, so he must have a history that's obvious by how everybody reacts to him with fear. They kind of see him as kind of a lunatic as he is trying to free all of the people that are enslaved in the South at this time. And the scene, like I said, it just plays out really well. The tension builds as both of these men are sizing each other up, and it comes to a climax where it might erupt in a gunfight, and Dutch Henry tries to shoot John Brown, but of course his gun misfires. And it's funny because John Brown even said that no matter what you do, you're not going to lay a hand on me, and God protects him seemingly in this moment. Even John Brown seems to be surprised at this moment in that the gun didn't actually go off and that it backfired. And in the chaos of everything, the barber's son, who the barber all throughout this time as the tension is building is trying to shield him from maybe getting shot, as tensions build up and as they flare, the barber accidentally loses his life, and that results in John Brown having to take the child with him, who he mistakes as a girl, which is kind of a thing they play on the entire show. John Brown and his whole posse thinking that this kid is a girl. But again, John Brown and his riders ride off into the sunset. The scene, in my opinion, is a masterclass of both tension and atmosphere, and it really sets the stage for the entire rest of the show, which is once again, a phenomenal show that they created. It really went under the radar for the most part, but for me, once I saw it the first time, I had to get my hands on it, and I have it in my digital collection, and I revisit it from time to time, especially the opening scene, which I definitely recommend that you do so as well. Have you seen Good Lord Bird? I would love to know what you thought in the comments down below. My puppies and I would love if you would like, share, and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. And as always, travelers, go with grace.